Good evening.
Go ahead.
Welcome to A New Way of Being, hosted by Avatar Galextra, the God who lived as Lord Jesus about 2,000 years ago, with her husband, Andraggon, who lived as Albert Einstein about 6,500 years ago. 65 years ago. We are broadcasting from our 12th motel in Niagara Falls. Today, we've titled the show, The Biggest Ever Foisted on the Entire Human Race in the history of this planet, or in this case, of the human race. We're talking about COVID-19. The crisis they're going through, it's real, it's pain, but the disease that is being used to infect the bodies of about 1.5 or so million human beings, it's not a virus of any kind, nor is it contagious in any way, as Avatar Galextra told you. It is mucus that is being poisoned by a group of American agents for using a technology that does not belong on this planet, because it has vast fourth dimension capabilities, and they are inserting this poisoned mucus into the nose, nostril, eyes, and mouth of human beings from inside the fourth dimension, wearing cloaks of invisibility. And you're scientists, because modern science does not deal with the world of religions. Science and modern science, understandably and unintentionally, have mistakenly identified this disease that's killing you today as a virus. It's not. We're telling you of invisibility created with a technology that does not belong on this planet today or any time in the future. So we just wanted to let you know this paradigm shift in information, so that you can start to think about what's being done to you today across the planet that is causing nations and governments and populations to panic, to become traumatized, terrified. This pandemic continues to infect them in the way that it has, because it's being done deliberately and intentionally and she does, inside and out. Okay, so here we are.
Well,
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to start making changes in how you conduct yourself towards human beings that you think that are lower than you. There's nobody lower than anybody. But when you practice that kind of behavior that undermines the rights of other people to see themselves in a way in which they were born to be seen and trained, so that they show their greater selves rather than their worse selves. When you force them into that kind of thinking and behavior, you create that problem in your society, which creates a society that is growing in all kinds of disabilities, simply because of the fact that so much prejudice is going on. So many people swinging their words to attack and abuse other people for being a nationality, for being smart enough to know things that everybody was really born to get from within and use. And now they're so occupied in being controlled by systems, forcing them into school systems and the first properly. And then in doing so, they become trained. And until everything is cleared up totally, so that human beings feel that they are free and they can live happily. When we are allowing people to be terrorized and persecuted, and we see them acting in a different way, we're looking for names to plant on in the society. Because once you start planting the roots of evil into your society, that's what you're growing. That's what turns your whole society into the beings they become, simply because of what others, in their ignorance and prejudices, in their selfish disposition, they use negativity to pull other people down way. And in actuality, they're behaving worse. We as human beings are not just human beings. We're not ordinary beings. We're beings that came to this planet, this world, to show ourselves in ways in which is supposed to upgrade and uplift everyone. And instead, a lot of deceit and duties and prejudices and ignorance take control. And before you know it, everybody else is participating in all kinds of verbal language that undermines the quality of life for themselves and everybody else.
Mm.
The qualities in life that brings people together, that shows people how precious they truly are, to let them know that they were born to live in a way in which they're not living right now because of some problems that created that leave you with practically nothing.
Mm.
Is that fair? No, it's not. No one. You need to start standing for the rights of all of you. When you know that something is beautiful and it's helpful to you and everybody else, and you see that there are no flaws in it that destroys anyone, that is something that it means that you just found something that will be beneficial to everyone else once they hear it, and they will be able to also connect with theirs, not disrespects, that produces quality. So a society can live in a manner in which they were born to be because they're children of gods. They have to work their way into becoming the developed. God, just call yourself gods when you're doing damage to people and insulting. And here to help each other, upgrade each other, not destroy and kill. Because what you're killing is beings who have a right to be able to. Why block? But the idea is for us to help each other and in doing so harmoniously and find a world that they're living in where there are no evils. Think that they have a win-win situation where they can be happy rather than sad. Instead of looking to kill, they won't need these guns anymore. Instead of looking to destroy verbally, you'll find yourselves being able to upgrade. It's time for us to come together and be there for each other. Let us do the right thing. Let us be there for each other, and let us stop insulting people in the background and acting as if they did not hear what you are saying. If you want to do anything of quality, and you will, once you understand what quality is within your life as you grow and others are growing and their behaviors and everything, because that's what takes everyone to high developed levels, which upgrades everybody, man, woman, and child.
Mm.
And because of it, you have a society that would not be looking for weapons. Instead, they will be enjoying each other's company, having all kinds of verbal conversations, supposed to take the good things that you have within, and how they can be worked with, and how they can protect you and respect you all through the process of everybody's lives, which helps them to grow properly, which helps them to connect with each other properly. Practice should not be allowed in anyone. Practice to help others, not to hurt anyone. So women, stop trying to throw yourselves on other people's men. Stop thinking that you're superior and you can steal what you want, because you know something, all you're showing yourself to be is someone who is underdeveloped, and you don't deserve to have anything of quality until you understand what it is to do what, because it's beneficial to everyone, not just some. Everyone is special enough to need base, putting things there to try to make me age, doing stuff to pull the skin so that it loosens and falls, attacking under the feet when you're going out, attacking in all different parts of your body. You're moving your bones all over the place in order to torment you, pulling your kneecaps up, blocking your breast implants that you go to get, and find out that you're being the person who has this machine is telling these doctors how to do things to hurt you. And make sure that you're set up to look like a deformity rather than someone who is properly developed and has all the abilities and looks and so on that they have a right to, that they had. And then you set up people out of prejudices and thinking you're superior. When I first came here, I did not see anybody looking in the way in which I looked. I saw everybody wearing their jeans and it had holes all over and all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
I did not look down at you because of it. I just continued on my way and did what I wanted to do, and allow you to do what you want to do until you can develop enough to understand what works and what is destroying the, women and their marriages, destroying or anything and everything. And you think that is so cool. You know what it does? It turns your society into people who do not how much they can steal this man's wife for the man, how much this woman can steal this man from her husband. This kind of insanity shows lack of quality and that you're low in quality thinking. When you start thinking in terms of the rights of everybody, your rights will be protected and be free to go anywhere without doing any damage to anyone. But if you continue this reign of terror, turning on women for whatever reasons, especially practice these kind of twisted behaviors, it shows that you're prejudiced, jealous, and you want to make you by just treating them badly that others can see what kind of person you are. But if all of them are practicing the same kind of evil, your your system is going to continue to go down. Today, you know what's causing it? The evils that human beings practice, the wrongs that they're doing to people for being a color, even if that color gave them their lives. That's how they thank you. Evil. You became that way when you allowed others to make bad remarks, and you continued with the bad remarks, and you spread it around it after a while, and before you know it, nobody knows what right and wrong is. That's what happens when you don't use the best of you to be shown, rather than bringing out something that you did not have and is creating it in within. Hmm? Look and find the ancient knowledge that you're carrying. You have it within you. You know what brings it out for you to see? When you're doing good things for everybody. And I don't mean stealing people's husband. That's the thing, is to show you how you can get to know your whole society without anyone. Enjoy each other's company so that you can speak to anyone and everyone without anybody having to be worried that they would lose their quality, or that you become highly developed. That high development, where it takes you, is to recognize what works and what does not. And when you practice the things that work, that helps everybody and that makes no enemies, then you know very well that you are doing the things that are helping you to feel better about yourself and those that you come in contact with. But for us to spend our time looking for revenge and looking, it helps you to turn into an evil being. And you weren't born evil, you're children of gods. So if you want to cut the mustard and start realizing that showing prejudices and negativity into the environment, like you think you have a right to, but nobody should, but you, that's wrong. Start thinking in terms of how you would feel when beings, if you're not getting great treatment, that is terrific, but that is rare right now, because that is falling apart bit by bit. Failing to realize that the negativity that they're throwing out is causing the problems for the people. You must show people how they can access the qualities they have within simply by doing the right things towards others, even if you find they don't like how they're treating you. Unless you've gone through it for that is going on an everyday basis, night and day, 24/7, then it does take its toll on your own spirituality, and you have to find ways to reconnect with it and bring it back to the fore, so that you can now start practicing it with your family, showing them what really works, and then after a period of time, you can show them in other different ways and have other people recognize and feel much safer within themselves and outside of themselves, and even in the environment. You see, when everybody is doing the right thing, it's nothing bad. It's a very good thing. It means that human beings are now working together in harmony, or to achieve harmony, so that they can work with everyone without doing any evils towards anyone. So the idea about being human, or any form of life, is to treat each other properly. Make sure you treat the animals properly too. They're looking forward to your treatment, because when you start the right kind of behavior, arms out so that you can help others too. And when you're helping them, they feel that energy. They want that to be a part of that because they know they have it within them. And being children of God, yes, you do. You just have to practice all the good things that help. What you do. Okay? So please don't let people become as angry as I did. Try to treat them with kid gloves. Treat them well. After in order and now caring about each other willfully, caringly, respectfully, and responsibly. So let us put our heads together instead of look to pull people down for being looking a certain way when they didn't before. Think about this. When wrongs are in the environment, these things happen to people. When rights are in the environment, you'll see all of these things disappear. Get rid of the evil, the swearing, the things that are destroying everybody, and start thinking of the most positive ways, and you can connect each other with each other so that you will find it passing on like beautiful grapevines, connecting all beings together in so many different ways. You have it in you. Trust me. Look at what I'm going through. And I haven't killed anybody. And believe me, there were times when that feeling came about with someone like Trump. Use the qualities you have and be there for each other, regardless of what others are saying at this time. They will feel humiliated and embarrassed after a period of time when they're doing the wrong things and nobody is bothering with them and just dealing with those who need the help and helping them. But they too will still decay the ones who are doing well. So it's important that everyone become aware of this important behavior that does not hurt you when you're doing people are being harmed. It's not because they're doing the wrong. Sometimes it's because of what way. Not steal people's wives or husbands, not go to play games to destroy people's feelings of happiness, but to learn how to connect with each other and realize that it's not about you alone. And if you think you're superior or better looking, take another look. You will find out there are beings who are more beautiful than you are. I was one of those people that you destroyed. And many of you have to start making of you. I want you to know something, CNN. And I'm not trying to pull you down, honestly. I'm just trying to being bullies and robbing people of their rights. It's important that people recognize that all these human beings are beautiful people within, except that you're not seeing it because of what's been forced on them and what others have taught them to become. You see, what we practice is what we're teaching. So in order for us to live in a better way, we have to give up these bad behaviors that does not help anybody, not even the ones who, because you are terrorizing them too. And when you do that, human beings after a period of time will show what they have been put through. So don't blame them after you have done. So you, whenever you meet them again, you could always help them back to, if they have not already gotten back to their true selves. You can help those that need your help. Be there for each other. Stop judging people with ignorance and arrogance because it just makes you look shallow. And a shallow person is someone who has no depth, who is not developed enough to understand things from a point of view of how things will work when we are doing the right things towards each other. It takes all of us to create that quality for everybody to feel free to live happily. I'm worried about the kids. I'm worried about some adults and the kind of remarks that are made by them and use children in the wrong way. I'm sorry about the people who are raping other children, but I have never done so and will never do so. I'm too developed for that and never will harm anyone in that way. But if you continue to terrorize human beings like that, but I am angry from what has been done to me, and that is a natural process that has to be looked at and cleared up. These are things that were forced upon me. I had no choice, or else I would not be a human being. I'd be dead. Just families who suffered this kind of plight. Do that would help and make people happy and make it for you from the beginning, and no one else it's good for. When it works and people are smiling, all that they're receiving is showing in their smile. It's telling you, I love you all. Thank you caring on doing the right thing, trying to treat them, in a bad way. When I say kid gloves, I mean in a nice way, where human beings, adults or children, can unite and they're greeting each other and they're happy to speak to each other because they know that they don't need the kind of low thinking to use as words to annihilate people with these words, instead of showing them the best of the words that you can use to be protective all of each other. We love you all, and it's true, we do. The problem is that you don't know it. You think that no one really cares much about you. Showing some hate will break down and start doing the right thing too. Please excuse me, I'm being attacked. Be for yourselves, but most of all, be there for the whole society. As you get information to pass it on. Don't think that the qualities will start showing themselves on everybody. You will find that people won't be getting away with wrong things because they won't be doing them. Okay? Please excuse me. That's all I can do. Other things I can't do right now because of what is being done. I will appreciate it as human beings that you unshallow and start thinking about these are your brothers and them. It means that you have to learn how to be there for each other in order to protect all life forms. You don't do that by going and raping and throwing your body on things that you should and should not do. The things that you should do must be positive towards yourself and everybody else, because you won't be using anything to hurt anyone. When you see the wrong things, they should be spoken of in a nice, gentle manner. But if you're being persecuted and terrorized like I have, of course you'll be angry at times. But do your best to try to throw out the anger and show the part of you that you would like. We're trying to do right now. I'm trying to throw off the persecution that I've received for so long, most of my life, as well as my family, and use that energy and use it in a different way so that I'm helping people rather than hurting them. Getting angry is not helpful. But sometimes, if under the conditions that you're in, control, and they're doing the wrong things, they're setting you up to be attacked and abused too. They're setting you up to be blocked in different ways. They're tormenting you in jobs. They're doing all kinds of their own children before they send them into any kind of school systems. And the thing up they must get is loving care without disrespect, spoken to with integrity and treated properly, giving them the right to be loved and respected without harming their bodies. Don't go trying to sex your children. That is the wrong thing to do. That does not help you to be a good person in life. It shows you to be something that is destroying people's lives. So if you really want to do something good, own attitude. You don't jump in bed with everybody. Stop looking for sex wherever you turn. That's because you're overdone. You've been doing it so much, and you've been doing so many other things right to live without anyone, but gives them information that helps them to think so that they can grow too, because all beings are capable of this quality. And when we leave them without getting the opportunity to learn what they have, we create problems in the society, because they will pass on what they've learned to others too. If it's negative and not helpful to the society, here goes the society with all kinds of problems. But if the society is developed enough formally so that they can quickly take themselves to the place and speak to those who need the help in what they should and should not do, they can go about living without harming anyone. And why people need to be there for each other in the right way, so that no one can have to worry about trust. They know they can trust each other to behave responsibly and not do the things that are wrong. Does not have that training. Forget systems, and don't allow systems to tell you that they are going to be they're there to serve you, and instead they turn around and start using that as an opportunity to control you. Of the best quality of thinking that can help you and everyone. That's what we're here for, not to destroy people, because it's not our right. We're here to destroy the wrongs that we are practicing, that would not bring people together, but destroy them when we are practicing them. But instead, treat them well. They will take the rest over on their own once they see that is happening, because it's a very healing mechanism. It helps you to feel comfortable with yourself. It helps you to want to reach out and help others too. And people have to be developed to understand that when you're reaching out to help them, that they can trust you. And just make sure you have lots of people around you until everybody starts, you can trust everyone. And then after a period of time, you will find that you don't have the problems that you had before. Instead, you have all kinds of hiding. When you're practicing good behavior, that is the wrong thing. It is the absolutely right thing, because it helps you to be the best you that you can be. In a society where all beings need to learn how to come together and treat each other with grace, and you are going to win. They just have to be led the right way.
I'm sitting here falling asleep from being drained, exhausted from the life of terrorization that we are being forced to endure on a daily and nightly basis, so that we have been living as a family inside 12 different motels so far in Niagara Falls. But for over 4 decades that we've lived in the province by government and the Canadian government, and they are forcing us to live in a state of complete crisis,
And terrorism.
duress, stress, terrorization, traumatization, and sleep deprivation as a family now, for all of our lives as a family in this province. We are sounding the alarm about this same technology that looks like a round spacecraft. Not round, it's actually a disc shaped, a round disc shaped, golden colored miniature spaceship. The Avatar saw this craft inside the program. They've been using it to allows them to teleport, to morph their bodies to look like shadows, which allows them to teleport themselves within seconds through the fourth dimension and go anywhere to any place across the surface of Lady Gaia and attack human beings from inside the fourth dimension without them having any knowledge or awareness of these crimes being committed against them. So for the last 9 months, they've been using this technology to attack the bodies of tens of millions of human beings, infecting, as I mentioned, over 70 million of them so far, about 76 million, with this poison, the cover of this COVID-19, which your scientists have mistakenly and unintentionally identified as a virus that is being used to kill and infect human beings today. It is mucus, poisoned mucus. And so now we have vaccines being created to give vaccinations to human beings with intention of this disease to a state where it's manageable, like other diseases are not being managed, like AIDS and Ebola and other viruses created by human beings, using decided that there are too many human beings living on this planet today, and going forward, this planet, they decide, cannot sustain all these human beings, fuel, food. So the ones who are controlling this technology, those that made themselves lords and masters over your lives and livelihoods and hope streams in the future, they've decided that they are trying to shrink the population by a third, and there are over 12,000 scientists from different fields in science who share this perspective and agenda that a third of the human race have to die for the rest of us to be able to sustain life on this planet with all the resources that we are depleting too many of us on this planet. So they tell us. So they're trying to kill a third of the population using diseases created by this technology from inside the American military, inside the Black Ops program. No nation has the right to decide the fate and future of the human beings, the human race living on this planet today. No nation has the right to use that technology that they've stolen that is thousands of years ahead of anything that the human race has invented in its history, and using it secretly and privately as a weapon to commit a global gen to push the entire human race to terror and forcing governments to become dictatorial in trying to find measures, increasingly restrictive measures to try to keep this virus, so-called, under control. But as I've told you, it's not a virus that's killing you, it is poisoned mucus. President Biden, soon to be president, stolen technology that is in the possession of the American military and being used to attack. Not do so with all these vaccinations that you are creating through the different companies that are now trying to bring this vaccine to the market, because the virus, as you call it, it keeps changing, it's mutating. So as long as this virus, as it's being identified wrongfully, continues to be inflicted on human beings by a group of human beings, it will continue to plague the human race, and it will continue to destroy and disrupt and undermine life on this planet today. Shut down the virus or the pandemic, the program being used by the American military and these unseen criminals of invisibility will have to be shut down. And as the Avatar points out, the people are the ones who have the power to do so. There are five, and government, military, mass media, oh, big business. And then there's the fifth estate, we the people. And as President Eisenhower warned Americans during at the end of his third term in office, they should be aware, warn them to be wary of the military industrial complex. You, the people, as the Avatar points out, you have to come together and work as a family and continuously to let the American nation know that this technology that is being used to commit this global holocaust against the human race has to be shut down. And until it does, then the vaccinations will not bring an end to this spread of this poisoned mucus. It will continue to change, to be mutated, because these criminals are adjusting the formula or the genetic makeup of this disease going forward. And they're doing it for a number of months now. So you see, people all across the planet are finding out, as the experts are now doing, that this virus, so-called, continues to change. It's mutating. And so the vaccinations you're receiving will not bring an end to this pandemic, because the vaccinations you're receiving are designed to identify and to neutralize a disease that is supposed to have jumped from the genomes of animals inside and infecting and spreading across the planet like wildfire. This misinformation, which modern science and the scientists, the disciples of science, have given to you, it is being used as a cover by this group of American agents to continue to commit this holocaust against the human race. So, as the Avatar points out, you, the people, have the power and the right and responsibility to come together, have a national and international conversation, and demand that your government exert pressure on the American nation to stop them from continuing to use this technology that does not belong on this planet. It is also being used, it's also being protected by something that people call codes of silence. Because it is classified, then the American military and government will hold the view that they will not release any information about any military activity, their security and interests. Well, the American military and government is violating the lives and livelihoods of human beings by possessing this technology, stealing it, killing the two men of science who were given it telepathically by some of the Avatar's brothers decades ago, for them to imploding from the hundreds of millions of pounds of bombs that were exploded across her planet-sized body on a daily nightly basis for 6 consecutive years by the 39 different nations who fought in the war to end the wars. So the American military and government does not have the right to have this technology in their possession or to use it secretly against human beings by declaring a war against the human race by killing up to a third of the human race. This is wrong, unacceptable, and intolerable. And the Committee of Gods, which the Avatar is the permanent leader of, will not allow this reign of terror to continue against the human race. So every true member, every true God is a member of, are watching the leaders of the US and Canada to find out when they will pay the compensation that they've been ordered to by the Committee of Gods, in this case, $200 billion each in American money to the Avatar, who is the God of all gods and the eternal leader of the Committee of Gods, living as a woman of color known as Avatar Galextra today. They're waiting and watching to see when the American nation off for the crimes they've committed against the human race and the Avatar and Lady Gaia and other nations using that technology that allows them to do so unseen from inside the fourth dimension. So people...
It appears that just as Trump has,
Yes.
and Trump is still doing,
Yes.
what is being done, these are criminal acts that are being committed against the human race. And when this kind of stuff is being done, it no longer is the right of the government to think that they must now sit on that too, because the government are the ones who have been putting out those things out publicly. They're the ones who have been trying to killing people out for crimes that they committed. But when the government commit crimes, killing people out, they don't seem to recognize that they too should be in jail because of what they have done. Because no government, no systems have a right to be able to do what they have been doing as a government, killing people out, and then acting as if they have the right to be able to get away with that. That is not right. If you can put other people who were there before your systems came about and then want to treat them in such a manner, that is wrong. And the people are watching this kind of behavior, and before long, they're going to start fighting, being taken advantage of by a system that cares nothing about them, only cares about what riches they can extract from the people and from the environment.
Information for you. The Avatar is the same God who undertook the greatest revolution ever attempted on the surface of this planet. Trillions of years ago, God, known as Master Know-Her. As Master Know-Her, she orchestrated the building of a city-sized vessel, and they call it an ark, which housed and sheltered. Most of them were giants, 10, 12 feet. Know-Her constructed used in a team of workers. It also sheltered every group of mortal beings, members of every group of mortal beings living on the planet at the time. This included plant beings, animal beings, bird beings, and oceanic beings inside this city-sized. It had four layers or four levels. The bottom level of this city-sized ark also had what the Avatar pointed out, an ocean inside it, surrounded by a gigantic forest. And this ocean was inhabited by different oceanic beings, mermen and merwomen, and other oceanic life forms who were sheltered inside the city-sized ark for a number of months, while the entire surface of Lady Gaia was completely covered with water during what was called the first great flood that took place on this planet. So Master Know-Her is back on the planet today, trillions of years later, to rescue the human race for a second time. This time on the entire human race at the same time by a group of, by government in this case, using a technology created by some of her brother gods, and doing so from inside the fourth dimension under the cover of what they've come to call, what your science and scientists have come to call the COVID-19 pandemic. So the Avatar is back on the planet to rescue the human race again for a second time in its trillions of years of history on the surface of Lady Gaia. As she told her mother when she was 5 years old, I came back to this planet to save the human race. But as a 5-year-old, she didn't know exactly what that meant. But the mother told her, yes, you will, my child, because you have a job to do and you'll get it done. You will meet adversity along the way, but you will succeed in the job that you came back here to do. So today, the family that is here, the Avatar, who lived as Lord Jesus, Lord Buddha, Lord Krishna, and other gods on this planet over time, and her husband lived as Albert Einstein about 65 years ago. We are sounding the cup, we're sounding the alarm about this COVID-19 narrative that is being used as a cover by the group of criminals who are working you, the people, using the technology that is allowing them to do so from inside the phone. You can see something with your eyes or your five senses, you cannot verify, measure, or prove or disprove it. So if you can't see it, do not believe it.
And it does not exist.
And it does not. Theologists, the pastors, the rabbis, the imams and others, let them verify that with your beliefs, with their beliefs. So science and scientists are paralyzed today because they cannot identify this disease being used because they don't have the tools that they need to utilize, activate it. They are not using the tools where, as the Avatar says, you have to combine your IQ with your EQ, your intellect with your emotion. You have to combine your spontaneous abilities with your creativity. You have to combine your with scientists and people in general to be able to start to glimpse the details of life taking place beyond the fourth dimension. So we are here to help you, the people, to connect the dots about what's being done to you, and the Avatar is here to make sure that your liberation being foisted against the entire human race by one nation, the richest, most powerful nation on the planet today. Avatar, go ahead before the information goes from your memory.
Ladies and gentlemen, to tell you, but we are supposed to be here to help you, and we have been doing so. And what you have done, many of you, not all, you have terrorized us to the degree where we could not do much anymore. Function properly is one of them. You blocked us from practically everything.
Working.
Included. We want you to know this. were terrorizing you, you were the ones doing it to us.
Hmm.
And now that I am using this, we are using this machine to speak to you
Yes,
and let you
medium.
know things
Yes.
about what is really happening. I'm sort of blocked because others are yet to block me from being able to smell things as I used to.
Attack the
Also,
cavities of the brain
attacking the, yes,
for
the
decades,
cavities of the brain,
taking the memory away from you.
my,
Okay.
yes, and
Hmm.
and it created all kinds of problems for me, stealing my clothes. I have no clothes right now
Mhm.
because of what is being done. Mr. Trump, Mr. Trudeau, Chris Cuomo coming over here now and is viciously attacking, going on the roof of this building, and where apparently no one is living there, or actually probably being done, shows that the society of men that we have, and including a lot of the women who are not developed from the time I came to the United States till now.
Time you were born, the day you were born, they try to kill you.
True.